also coached, youth. So my daughter plays right now at a college out in California. So I got the opportunity to coach her a few times as a youth. And one of the stories, so it's in a, she's like 7, 8, year old teen, right? Okay. I'm coaching, right? So this is the most important thing going on in my life. I don't know about the girls, right? And we're down by like, it's maybe tied, or we're down by 1 against like the team that's perennially the winner, and they were all like the obnoxious, arrogant, people, right next door that you just hated, right? So we get the ball, turnover, comes across it. I call it timeout. Now, first of all, who calls timeout? 7 and 8 year old me, this guy. And I get them all around, right? And I'm like, okay, all right, so look, you guys, we got the ball, okay? Now, what I want you guys to do is I want you to focus right now on all the things we were talking about this year. I'm psyched. I'm looking them in the eyes. Like, I'm like, this is going to be big. You have no idea. You guys have no idea how big this is going to be. And then all of a sudden, this really like super, almost frail little girl who, God love her, she was just, any time anybody went anywhere near her, I feared for her. And she raises her hand right as I'm like in the crescendo of this thing, right? Because we're going to, And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, Susie. Yeah. What? Coach, we're not guys. And I'm just like, really? That's your contribution? Right? So, but you know what? She was right. At the end of the day, too, I was, hey, what can you do? And it probably brought me down a notch, too, which was helpful as well, as my daughter was most likely mortified of me. So that's just me, just to give you a little insight of me. But it is an honor to be here with you ladies. So, real quick, just to get the juices flowing, right? Because I know you come up here and sometimes the brain can turn off for a little bit before it gets re-engaged. So who wants to read that for me? Anybody? Go ahead. Anybody?
Opportunity is nowhere.
Okay. Right? Anybody see it different?
Opportunity is now here.
Boom.
Ooh.
Right? Opportunity is now here. And who else saw, honestly, right, honor code, who else saw opportunity is now here? Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Come on, raise them up high. You can be proud. It's all right. It's not that that's the right answer or the wrong answer, because it says the same thing. It says both, right? Okay? So there's your first lesson on the importance of teammates. That's your first lesson, right? Because think about how many of you saw opportunity is nowhere. And you were probably thinking to yourself, are you kidding me? This is what the coach brings this guy in to tell me about opportunity is nowhere? But then, 1 or 2 or 3 of your teammates saw that differently. And now all of a sudden, you all see it differently. Now, do you think that's going to happen every single day inside this locker room, inside the weight room, back in the barracks, on the field, down early in a game against Navy, maybe, right? You think you may be seeing opportunity is nowhere, okay? Rely on one another and know that I don't care how bad things are, there's always opportunity. Always, okay? And I'm talking about like dire, all right? I'm talking about leading men in combat and women and dead people. And there's still opportunity in that moment, okay? So that's your first lesson in leadership and why it's so important and why you need to go ahead and constantly rely on each other. And there's a million other examples like that, and you, who else, where are you? You won't see the positive aspect in one of those moments, but somebody else will. Okay? So there's the key in being a teammate. All right, so begin with the end in mind. That's the other thing. Whatever you want to do in your life, I would argue, begin with the end in mind. And even in the military, what do we tell you, right? Figure out where the objective is, plan back from the objective. Backward plan, right? Anybody ever hear backward plan? Yeah, because you got to figure out where the hell you're going and where you want to be, all right? So I asked you, Coach, to put up a few things, you guys and you ladies, to put up a few things in terms of what it means to be a teammate. Because it really doesn't matter what I think, okay? I mean, I could sit down and I'll phone call and email with you or whatever and give you my ideas, later. Okay, but this is your team, not my team, okay? And every team has a lifespan of 1 year, give or take. Think about that for a second. Every team has a lifespan of 1 year. Next year's team is not going to be the same as this one. This team dies on some level at the end of this year. Now imagine if somebody told you, you got 1 year to live. Might you approach things a little bit differently? Might you support each other a little more deeply? Might you understand each other's challenges a little differently? Might you love each other a little more deeply? Might you sacrifice for one another and go the extra mile a little more? Might you make sure you get the most out of that last sprint? Oh, yeah, I think you might. So I would offer, here's some things you were talking about that you want to be as a team and what you see here in teammate. And one of the things that I love about this as I look at it is not one of those things requires quote unquote athletic ability. Which means it's available to everybody. Everybody in this room can do and be those things. There isn't one person in this room who can't be and do those things. Not one. It's choice, in many cases, right? It's choice. So that's awesome, that it's not even talent, because I've gone to some places and it's like 100 goals, face off, redefend, all these other things. It kind of are like, hey, at some point you get the most out of your God-given ability with the help of your coaches and the training, your hard work and everything else. But there's a ceiling to some of that stuff. There's no ceiling to any of this. There is literally no ceiling to any of those things other than the own cap that you either put on it yourself individually or you artificially place upon one another in certain ways that aren't really conducive to allowing people to be teammates, okay? So I'd offer you to think about that and you think about your 1 year lifespan because you're on the clock and each day is another heartbeat closer to the end, okay? All right, so what are some of the challenges of being this stuff, right? I mean, because, yeah, these are words, okay? And every program has words, right? We even have it, as we get, duty on the country, words, put them on a t-shirt, right? The guys have family, tradition, toughness on the back of a shirt, right? Different places, you've all been it. Up in the locker rooms in a lot of places, stuff are plastered up, all cool words, all right? But the challenge is, how do you take the words, rip them off the board, and make it who you actually are? Because they're just words on a board, and they're just words on the back of a t-shirt, unless you do something about it. You have to physically do things. Bless you. So the challenges to doing that, right? It's not a la carte. Being a great teammate, being great at anything, is not a la carte. And what I mean by that is, right, just what it said, right? A la carte, you go around, you pick and choose what you want to eat, right? Oh, I don't like broccoli, but I'll double down on like those cheesy fries with bacon on top. Heck yeah, right? Who wouldn't, right? This isn't like that. Being a good teammate isn't a la carte. If you want to be a good teammate, you gotta eat it all. Eat it all. The things you don't like and the things you do like. because it matters. It matters. So you gotta be selfless when it doesn't necessarily feel good. You gotta have good body language when you're the one who's being spoken to in a way that doesn't necessarily feel good. And you've got to be the teammate who goes up behind them afterwards and picks them up and reminds them of what it means to be a good teammate and get their head back in it. And you got to be willing to accept that in that moment while you're still feeling like shit. That's what it means to be a good teammate. It's not a la carte. Nothing here is a la carte. Nothing about greatness is a la carte. You got to eat it all, okay? So that's a challenge. That ain't easy. And lots of times we allow our emotions to get in the way of that, right? I mean, it's human nature. We all fall prey to it, okay? But what I'd ask you is, don't fall prey to your emotions. Is there a good emotion, right? You got bad emotions, okay? But think about it. What are your convictions? Allow your convictions to dictate what you're going to be for one another as teammates and as a team. There's a difference. Believe in these words because they matter. Believe in those words because they matter. And then have the conviction to act in ways that bring them to life. And also have the conviction to not be willing to accept anything that is contrary to it. Lots of places they'll talk about what we want to do and what we're going to be willing to do to be great teammates. Rarely do I ever hear anybody talk about, okay, but what aren't we going to do? And what aren't we going to accept? So I would offer tomorrow, maybe come up and write that list. Because that's what being a good teammate's about. That's what you want to do to be a good teammate. But what aren't you willing to do? And what aren't you willing to accept in order to be a good teammate? Just as important question, but one that usually doesn't get accepted. All right. If you're a good teammate, it's likely only known to the people in this room. It's not the $100 or the 100 points. It's not even a game-winning goal in the championship game that everybody sees, blows up on Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat. Being a good teammate goes unnoticed largely to everybody other than the people in this room. And in today's world, where everybody wants to blow everything up, right? That's awfully hard to commit to. But it's absolutely worth it. What I would offer to you is, in that regard, known only in this room, right? In that regard, there's Emmitt Smith, NFL football player for the Dallas Cowboys. His NFL Hall of Fame speech. Google, YouTube, Emmitt Smith, Hall of Fame, and then Daryl Johnston. And it's a short 1-minute clip where he asks his teammate to stand up at his NFL Hall of Fame acceptance speech in Canton on TV. He says, Daryl Johnston, stand up. And he talks about what his teammate meant to him. And how he would, and I mean, this is a grown man crying, talking about the importance of that other man, his teammate, and what he meant to him and everybody on that team. Powerful. Powerful. Okay? So what I'd ask you to do is, when you see people being good teammates, don't wait till your Hall of Fame induction ceremony 20 years later. Tell them you love them right there. Tell them thanks. Celebrate that, man. Celebrate it. Okay? All right. It's thankless and it's emotionally draining. Absolutely. It goes back to these other things. And you have to be a great teammate everywhere to everyone. And again, that goes to it's not a la carte, right? You got to be a teammate to the person on the team who needs it most. And do you think the person who goes out and just kicks ass every single day and scores 100 goals for the season needs it most? Probably not. That's not to suggest that she isn't going to need it at points in times during the season, because we're all human. and it may be even harder to see it in that individual that they actually need you to be a good teammate than the person that everybody probably has in their mind, the 4 or 5 people that they have in their mind right now, right, who doesn't fit that 100-goal category, okay? So think about that too. All right. Benefits of being a great teammate. Again, everybody can do it. It's the ultimate level playing field. I don't care who you are, but you should be challenging each other and fighting each other to be the best teammate in a healthy, competitive kind of way, right? I'm not talking, Kanye Harding. I don't know if any of you all know that. Okay. Right, well, the ones who laughed, share it with the other ones, okay? But, that's what you should be doing. That would be like my #1 goal, right? To be the best teammate, okay? The other benefits, great teams, okay, and back to everyone can do it. I have to circle back to that. In any organization that I've ever commanded, I would come in and I'd always hear things like, oh, sir, he's just a private, or, oh, sir, she's just a lieutenant, or, oh, sir, and they put just a in front of it. And after a while, when I finally got the battalion command and figured some stuff out, or at least thought I did, one of the first things I said is, there are no justas in this unit. I don't ever want to hear it. Just think about that for a second. Who's plebeian here? Freshman? Raise your hand. Right? Okay. And you say, hey, you keep telling them you're just a freshman. What are the chances any one of them is going to score the game-winning goal? When all year long, all you've been doing is telling them you're just a freshman, and you're putting them in some kind of artificially constrained box. And you could come up with other examples. I use freshmen because that's like an easy one that everybody gets. There are no justas, okay? And you ladies are going to go out and you're going to be officers in the United States Army, okay? And so when I was in a unit to bring this home, because people don't quite get it, no matter how many times you say things, right? You got to kind of keep drum beating a little bit, and you got to kind of really give them something compelling. I went and I got the big imagery of Normandy Cemetery, aerial shot, right? And it's like click in, click in, click in, and then click, and you're looking down a row of headstones. Private first class, private specialist, private, Sergeant E5. And you want to talk to me about Justa? Really? Think about those guys in that unit being told, oh, you're just a private. Like somehow you don't matter and you can't contribute the way I can because I'm a senior, or I'm a All-American, or I'm whatever. Justa? So everybody contributes. Okay. Play with each other. That's a phrase you hear, right? Hey, I play with her. I play with her. Oh, I play with her, right? Okay. So, yeah, decent teams play with each other. Okay. The great teams play for one another. That's a difference. That's a major difference. And it stems and goes back to this idea of being a great teammate. Great teammates understand sacrifice. Great teammates understand that the whole is much bigger than any one individual. Great teammates understand that we play for one another, not with each other. Okay? No one goes it alone. Ubuntu, it's an actual African phrase, okay? But it means I am because we are. I am because we are. Again, in terms of what it means to be a teammate, okay? Imagine this program playing for one another. Imagine this program believing in I am because we are. Imagine this program, every single person being the best teammate they can be and living these things each and every day and not allowing them to be words that just get erased at some point in time after this old colonel walks out. Imagine that for a second. Imagine really the power that that brings and the unbelievable competitive advantage and unassailable flank that that provides you all. Okay? I'm going to read a short quote out of a poem. It's by Edwin Markham, and I believe the title of it is Creed. There is a destiny that makes us sisters. None goes his way alone, or her way alone. All that we send into the lives of others comes back into our own. All that we send into the lives of others comes back into our own. That's what great teammates do. They give into the lives of others, knowing it's going to come back into their own. And it becomes this perpetual cycle of energy giving that is, I'm telling you, unbelievable when it's mastered. Ask yourself, so ways now that we can we got the words, talk about some of the challenges, talk a little bit about the benefits, okay? But how do you really carry this forward, okay? I'm gonna give you a couple of simple techniques or ideas, all right? The first one is ask yourself always, are you a teammate or are you just a member of a team? And I did use just a there for a reason. Because think about that. If you're just a member of a team, can you really be a good teammate? I don't know. I don't think so, personally. So just ask yourself that question as you're coming up here, walking up or whatever. Hey, am I going to be a teammate or am I just a member of a team? And then before you walk out the locker room, ask yourself that same thing. And then as you're coming back in, ask yourself how you did. Just do that every day. Simple question, okay? The other thing is, and I'm getting close to wrapping here, is wrapping up. I don't wrap. You know, well, I do, and I do it in the mall to publicly embarrass my dog, but that's a different thing again. We all have notions of who we are, who we want to be. You get told all these different things about what it is to be a cadet, how awesome you are, right? You get told about who, you all talk about who you want to be, and you put words up on a board about a teammate or the type of season, you talk about the type of season you want to have, right? We all have these narratives, okay? And that's good, that's okay. Ask yourself each and every day, if I were tried, would I be convicted? If I were tried, would I be convicted? Hey, I say I'm a great teammate. I say I'm going to be, one of the best attackmen in the country. I say I'm going to. No one's going to redefend better than our group does this. No one in the country is going to do it, right? I'm a great friend. I'm an awesome sister. I'm a great daughter. Look at me. Okay, that's all well and good. But now the trial comes, and you get on the stand, and you got to be your own attorney, and you're defending yourself. If you were tried, would you be convicted of the things you say you are, of the person you say you are, the cadet you say you are, of the teammate you say you want to be, of the team you say you are going to be? Lay out the evidence. Show it to me. Get sworn testimonies. Give me 5 witnesses. Have them write sworn statements. Have them come in, take the stand, testify. Ask them the questions. Show me, 20 gallons of sweat. Bring it in. DNA testing. Yep, that's yours. Or no, it's not. Maybe. Because you actually didn't put in that much work. If you were tried, would you be convicted? It's a great way to kind of center yourself and really reflect, okay? The last thing I'll leave you with is, does anybody know Mia Hamm? I always got to be careful, right? When you get to be like 93, you start using references to groups of people who weren't even born when this person was doing what they were doing. It'd be great. But somebody up front here who's potentially going to be an aviator because their vision's good enough. Go ahead and read that out loud, loud enough for everybody to hear.
I am a member of a team and a teammate, and I rely on the team. I defer to it and sacrifice for it, because the team, not the individual, is the ultimate champion.
Mia Hamm, 1999 U.S. women's soccer, the 99ers, right? Won out in LA. I think it was Julie Foudy with the iconic, shirt off, ripped abs, yes moment, right? Think about that. Okay, Mia Hamm was the captain for that team. Before that, she played, coach, at UNC, where they were pretty dominant on the soccer field as well. So if you don't remember anything else I said, I'd go back to Mia Hamm, because I think she probably's got it figured out. Okay, and she said it in a far shorter amount of time than I just did for you. Okay. Hey, look, I am incredibly, like I said, honored up front to be here. You all are building something incredibly special. I'm just going to ask you to go about it. Make sure you go about it the right way. Because the foundation you all lay for everybody else who comes before and after you, it's important. I mean, I just went back to the alumni thing. That is like a touchstone for me, and many others. And you all are going to have the opportunity to keep doing that over the years. Go back there and be able to do that in a manner that you can be incredibly proud of yourselves for the way in which you went about doing what you do. Okay? I mean, if I could come back and grow a ponytail and hop on, I'd be in. I would be happy. Okay? So hey, I'll be watching. I guarantee it. Every team I come to and talk to, I always guarantee it. So I'm live streaming, I'm doing stuff. So I will be watching. Okay? And I'll be looking for these types of things. Do not let me down, but more importantly, don't let yourselves down, because that's what really matters most. Okay? Be great teammates, support one another, and don't let each other down. Okay? Thanks very much, ladies.